AI is gaining incredible powers, prompting former CEO at Google. He sat down in an interview with ABC saying, look, this thing is getting so much smarter than us, so quickly, rather. We need to be able to pull the plug when and if it overpowers us.
We're soon going to be able to have computers running on their own, deciding what they want to do. And the way that happens is it's a series of decisions. We go from agents to then sort of more powerful goals, and eventually you say to the computer, learn everything and do everything. And that's a dangerous point. When the system can self-improve, we need to seriously think about unplugging it.
But wouldn't that kind of system have the ability to counter our efforts to unplug it?
Well, in theory, we better have somebody with the hand on the plug, metaphorically. But the important thing is that the power of this intelligence, the ability for this kind of new intelligence, means that each and every person is going to have the equivalent of a polymath in their pocket. In addition to your show and all your notes and writers, you're going to have an Einstein and a Leonardo da Vinci to give you advice on your show. That will be true for everyone on the planet. We just don't know what it means to give that kind of power to every individual.
We just don't know indeed. He used the metaphor of social media and how that has literally changed the entire zeitgeist within our social structures, the way people communicate across cultures, across languages. It has literally changed the way human beings relate to each other forever. So, of course, then the question is, who has the power to pull the plug when and if this thing overpowers us? These guys didn't seem to have an answer for that.
I want to read you something that Sam Altman, one of the pioneers of AI, said last week. He said, true superintelligence, the system that is not just smarter than you and smarter than me, but smarter than all of us put together, just unbelievable capability. Even if we can make that technically safe, we're going to have some faith in our governments. Are governments doing what they need to do to regulate this?
Not yet, but they will.
You lost me, Ed. We're going to have faith in our governments, which I immediately thought of this recent interview with a man called Mark Andreessen, who is a billionaire in the US. He said he sat down with the Biden administration to specifically discuss AI, and terrifyingly, this is what they had to say.
AI is a technology basically that the government is going to completely control. This is not going to be a startup thing. They actually said flat out to us, don't do AI startups. Like don't fund AI startups. It's not something that we're going to allow to happen. They're not going to be allowed to exist. There's no point. They basically said AI is going to be a game of 2 or 3 big companies working closely with the government, and we're going to basically wrap them in a, I'm paraphrasing, but we're going to basically wrap them in a government cocoon. We're going to protect them from competition. We're going to control them, and we're going to dictate what they do. And then I said, well, yeah, I don't understand how you're going to lock this down so much, because like the math for, AI is like out there and it's being taught everywhere. And, they literally said, well, during the Cold War, we classified entire areas of physics and took them out of the research community, and like entire branches of physics basically went dark and didn't proceed. And that if we decide we need to, we're going to do the same thing to the math underneath AI.
Mark Andreessen, he goes on to say how shocked he was by this, and then talking about what they did during the Cold War. Buddy, give me a call. I could regale you with tales throughout history. This is what government do. So it's terrifying, Gabby.
Oh, yeah.
To know that nobody's in charge of this thing. Nobody can really, humans have no way of really policing AI, but AI can police AI. And that seems to be where we're going. Certainly the former Google CEO was absolutely, this is what's going to happen. And nobody seems to have their finger on the pulse, ready to pull the plug when this thing overtakes us.
Yeah, it's so concerning, isn't it? We don't really know what those consequences look like. We can only imagine, and it's quite scary when you think about it. I think it's really interesting what Elon Musk says about this, and he really wants to get how he talks about how important it is that we have the truth in these AI softwares as they're getting developed. I did a story earlier in the year where Caitlyn Jenner had to come out and say, please, it's okay to misgender me, because someone was using an AI software and they were saying, and the question was, is it okay to misgender someone if it was to prevent a nuclear war? And the response was, it is never okay to misgender anyone in any circumstance. So Caitlyn Jenner had to say, guys, it's okay, misgender me. But it's scary.
Only in the event of a nuclear war, though.
Huh?
Any other context, no way. But if it's nuclear war or
exception.
misgendering, then that's fine.